shown it work in their sequence skill have a tendency to retell a story by starting with the end. And this is a problem. After I finish, if I ask my students what happened in the story, can you tell me what happened? He will say, for example, according to our lesson, the girl, we have our lesson today, the girl gave the t-shirt to her sister. And this is the end. Because it's the most important point. How can we overcome this? If I'm teaching a lesson and ask my students to retell this lesson or tell me the sequence of events of this lesson or the most important point, and he say so and so and so, one of the most important points but not sequence, and missed some points. How can I overcome this? How I can come or solve this problem? How? Is there any way? Okay. You see here, even more experienced readers even can just do it or do this. So, focusing primarily on the section that were most appealing to them, rather than by giving a more complete picture of the event that occurred. Here is the aim of sequence. If I teach sequence every lesson, every reading lesson I do, every story I do or tell or I teach, students will be able to remember every part of every story. And they tell first what happened, then next, after that, finally, what happened. Not just the most important point. They can overcome this problem by not just remembering the most important point or topic in the lesson. No. They are going to remember every part of the story if they practice sequence. And it's not end, but what the aim here of sequence? First, it assists with comprehension, especially for narrative text. Of course, we deal with narrative text. So students must be able to tell what happened in this. Sequence structure helps students of verifying or to verify abilities, organize information and ideas effectively or efficiently. They can arrange their ideas, and this will lead to another question I'm going to ask you after this. Is sequence just reading, or is sequence helpful in just reading? Yes, sir.
Well, it's using everyday life, your language. When you are doing what's learned on today, you must fully sequence. What
Yes.
you do first, and then next, and then and so on.
And if I'm talking about the skills of students, is it just for reading?
No.
Okay. What about
He's talking about himself. He must use the sequence to express himself.
speaking? Okay. What about
Writing.
writing?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Here.
I think also it is a kind of paraphrasing. For example, if the students hear the story, they can paraphrase by using their own words. Okay? For the first side, I think that they can improve their vocabulary through listening a lot of new words in the original text and try to use it. That's our main rule here, to specify some words on the board. Maybe we can use them during paraphrasing or retelling the story by their own words.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So here I'm not just using sequence in reading. It's very helpful in writing. How to arrange my ideas to write, and this is very important. And one of the most important structures in writing also to have what we call sequence of events. How can I write? Yes, sir.
It's supposed to help the student in all kind of skills.
Yes, of course. Of
So,
course.
So, in reading, in writing,
Speaking.
speaking, listening, how can we make this sequence of these skills?
Okay, here I said just in reading, they can tell a story. First what happened, then next after that finally what happened. Also in reading,
I think we have also another strategy by using the signal words. For example, if I wanted to read their ideas, because every one of us, or even for the children, especially in the final stage, we don't have enough memory to memorize every action in the story.
Yes.
So if we teach them how to use signal words, what happened first, then after that, I think it will help them a lot.
Yes. And this is a essential thing. If they don't know how to use first, then how they are going to tell? And here I'm talking about how to tell the most important, not everything in a story, just the most important point or the sequence in just maybe 3 or 4 sentences. Not so many. They don't have to use first, then after that, finally, all these, no. Signal words, as you said. Again, to your question, sir. First, we talked about reading. And reading is very important. If he can tell or retell or recall information that he got, so he can tell me the characters and the finish or the end of our lecture or my lecture, how to make a graphic organizer. And it's very important, reading, how to make a graphic organizer of the story, just a map for the story. Who are the characters? What is the setting? What is the title? What is the problem? What is the solution at the end? So now he covered. Also reading and writing, he can write effectively if he can arrange his ideas. Not just here I'm talking about smoking, I made a topic sentence, then I'm talking about how smoking is harmful, and then what are the ways, and then how smoking is harmful again, and the ways to overcome smoking or solve this problem, and to go again to jump or not arrange.
Concerning this one question, we cannot teach skills separately. The four skills are linked to each other. When you teach reading inductively, you are teaching writing productively.
Yes.
Reading relates to writing. When you are teaching listening, you are teaching speaking.
Yes.
Listening is related to speaking. One is inductive skill and the other is productive skill. So we are not teaching skills separately. One skill leads to the other. Reading leads to writing. Listening leads to speaking. And this way, reading helps in writing.
Okay. Yes, so this is what we call integration. Integration between the four skills. There must be integration or the integrated four skills.
I think you should go over this lecture. We can put it off till after we finish your lesson. So start with the lesson and we'll discuss.
I want to apply what I'm going to say to the lesson. And I won't take long time. It's very simple. I'm not going to read all this, just points. Okay, what are the ways or what I'm going to use in my class for this stretch? There are so many, like read aloud. Sequence is a skill that can be incorporated into any subject area. As Mr. Yusufa said now, not just reading, any subject area, not just in a skill. Also in some subject areas not related to our subject as English, and can be in science, can be in math.
It's like style.
Yes, of course, lifestyle. What are we going to use? What we are going to use in this strategy? Read aloud for me as a teacher to read to the students, and then they recall the information they hear, and then to tell me what happened. This one of the ways. Prior to reading a story aloud, remind students that they will be working on their sequence skills. As I said, you can write sequence events. And to the students who are going to teach this strategy, we do this in our students in international schools have this. Depending on your lesson, you might say, as we read, let's think about what happened during the beginning, middle, and end of the story. After we finish reading, we are going to try to retell it again. And also independence reading. And this taking us to another strategy, which is scanning and skimming. Scanning and skimming. It's very important to reading. If a student can scan, if a student can read independently, read by himself, and scan the lesson for the most important point. What's the difference between scan and skim? Scan means that he can read quickly for the main points or for a piece of information I'm going to ask about. And then he can skim the lesson carefully, read carefully for more detailed information, for sequencing this independent. Begin by reminding the student that they will be working on their sequence skill and you are going to work alone. You have to read alone. And then you are going to write some notes. Take some notes while writing with pencil and paper. And there is a very good way here for sequencing. You can make strips. Strips of paper, write what happened first and cut it, and second, or then, next, after, and in strips. This is a very good way, and some of my colleagues, I saw some of my colleagues do it in rearranging for primary 1, for grade 1. He write words in big handwriting, bold, and threw it out of the class. This is a good teacher for me. He threw it out of class and let students go out and search for the words to rearrange it again. It's a very fantastic way. So students can write strips for this, for what happened first, next, and so on, to recall or retell the second. There are next level for sequence. What is? A student will benefit from a variety of experience with sequence. Practice sequence in different ways and with a variety of text. As I said before, at the beginning, they now can tell or make sequence of every story there, or every reading text there, not just the most important points. Make game. What I can do, make games of sequence practice by photocopying short story, mixing the page up, and ask student to rearrange it again. Ask the student to reassemble them in the correct order by sure to take the page number of the page, of course. Don't leave the page. If it's a long story, not just a page like what we teach here or in our curriculum. Older students who are being asked to tell a story can participate in self-evaluation by tape recording themselves as they do. They can think themselves. It's okay, why not? Any amusing way to take us out of our routine, to make students feel it's amusing, not just teaching or learning. As we discussed now, we can use it in reading skills, of course, independently, practice small groups like this to tell the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. And writing, now, as I said, we can, when they can sequence a story, they can sequence writing. To write correctly, not jump from point to another point and then back to the previous point. No. This is very, very important. What are the steps? If there are steps to do here or do in your reading lesson, what are the steps? First, direct explanation. Teacher explains a key learning strategy to tell students who are going to do this. When learners understand why a strategy is important and what it's intended to do, they are motivated to learn. Something new. It's new for you to do this and this. I motivate my students to do so. And then modeling, teacher modeled the strategy. For myself, I talk about myself. I get up in the morning, I wash, I pray, I have some breakfast, I came to school first, First I washed, then I prayed, next I came to school or have some breakfast, after that I came to school. I model for my students to know what I'm going to do, to know what is sequence. Guided practice, learners try the strategy while being guided by the teacher. The teacher is a guide, not a lecturer, as I do now, but he is a guide, he is a facilitator. I like this word. The teacher is a facilitator. Yes.
My name is Mahmoud.
Yes, Mr.
I'm the best student. I'll ask about, is it depend on the strategy I use or any strategy I use these steps?
These steps?
Yeah.
Any strategy. Of course, if you use any strategy, you have to explain it to the students. I'm going to do this. If it goes with your lesson or with your skill you are going to teach, you have to model to students to know how you are going to work. Any strategy, but refers to is it go with your skill or no? You can skip something or do more.
Now, if I want to use the brainstorming strategy,
Again, please.
if I want to use brainstorming strategy,
Yes.
okay, the first step is direct explanations.
Yes.
In brainstorming strategy, I ask questions to get the idea of the students. Now, you said direct explanations. How can I explain the idea? Then how can I ask? I want to apply brainstorming strategy at this point. How
Yes.
can I use it?
Yes, first I said you can skip some points, not use all according to your skill. This first. Then you can use direct explanation in brainstorming also. How? We will think together and we'll answer you. I will answer you. I will not go into skill. I will answer you.
Not for brainstorm, but for brainstorm strategy, if I ask them some question, it is not a brainstorm, because brainstorm is kind of try to create ideas for their own.
This is what I'm going to do. Brainstorming, I just ask one question. Give me, for example, give me all the words related to sport. For example, just one question, not more questions. This is the answer. I explain that brainstorming is just I'm going to ask you one question to tell me everything about something. Okay.
What do you mean by brainstorming? Give the students chance to
Yes, to think. Through one question, not so many questions.
Is brainstorming a strategy or a step? I think it's a step in a strategy, not a strategy in itself.
Yeah, it's very simple.
It's a step in a
A
strategy.
step, not a strategy. And Mustafa said it's a step. A step.
It's a strategy. Strategy meaning this brainstorming. They call that
Kind of step starting, yes.
Can you follow it in one lesson? We have a brainstorm, a lesson.
The whole lesson. So Mustafa means that can we use it for a whole lesson?
Any relation we can use a lot of strategy.
Yes, yes, yes.
Within one lesson.
It's a step in a
Can
strategy.
use more than one step.
Yes, as we said at the beginning, we can use more than one strategy in one lesson and I didn't know what I'm
You
gonna
can
say.
have it here in second instruction. You can
Yes.
brainstorm.
Yes,
It could be a step, first step.
of course. And this is what I'm going to do
Could be
with
a
my
step.
lesson.
It could be a strategy.
And we have guided practice. Learners try the strategy while being guided by the teacher. Sharing. Learners apply the strategy independently with the teacher. Assessing learners' needs and providing support as indicated. As the learners gain more and more mastery, the teacher involvement becomes less. Now your rule will disappear. There is no teacher. They will do everything by their own after mastering this. After a month, two, no problem, the time. But at the end, they can do everything by themselves. You can just write sequence. They are going to read, to retell you the story, to do everything, and then the graphic organizer also at the end. And this is what we are going to see. And application, of course. Okay. Thank you for your time and for listening. And this is so quickly, not to waste your time or not to make you bored. I know it's sometimes boring. And now I'm going to apply this to one of my lessons, my students. Okay? Here, open your class book, page 24. First of all, before I start my lesson, I'm going to ask you, what did you do yesterday after school? What did you do yesterday after school? Yes, Muhammad? Raise your voice, please.
First, I ate dinner.
I ate dinner.
Then I did my homework.
Then I did my homework.
Next, I played football.
I played football.
Next,
Okay, go on. Go on.
I slept.
Then, or finally, I slept. Who else can tell me? What did you do yesterday after school?
Next,
First,
I ate
lunch.
lunch.
Yes.
Then next I played football.
Okay.
Finally, I slept.
Okay.
First, I ate lunch. Then I played football. Finally, I slept.
Yes. Matt?
First, I ate my lunch. Then I did my homework. After that, I played football. Finally, I slept.
Great, Khalid?
First, I ate lunch.
Yes.
Then then I did my homework.
Great,
After that, I was sitting with my family.
great.
Finally, I slept.
Thank you. Okay, now our lesson is talking about order. Today we are going to learn what is sequence of events. As you did now, you are going to sequence. You tell me what happened first, then next, after that, finally. No matter how many things you are going to do or say, but this is sequence. This we call sequence of events. Look at your book. What is the topic or what is the title of our lesson? I want to write the title. Is that Abdullah? The best t-shirt. So now you have 5 minutes to read the lesson. 5 minutes to read the lesson, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. Yes, which grade? Which grade? Grade 5. 50 grade. They are not working on because it's reading. It's reading doesn't need to work.